Now, 2023 was a massive year for film. We had everything from new superhero films to racing movies, action films, and world-class animation. 2023 had it all. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see all of them. I did give it a shot though. And now I'm going to tell you my top 4 films of 2023 with some honourable mentions. I'm Harry, this is the Review Lab. Let's get into it. Now, if you've seen our TikTok or YouTube short from a few months ago, we posted our top 3 films of the year to that point, or even looked at our blog post for our top 10 films of the year to that point, then you're going to recognise entries on this list. What I am going to say is they have changed. Some have gone up, some have gone down. Before we get going, spoilers for all films follow. You have been warned. Number 4. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. At number 4, we have a film that was originally my number 1, and that's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Tom Cruise and co return in this high-octane action blockbuster as it pits Hunt and his team against the likes of antagonist Gabriel and the likes of AI. This film gets you from its inception, and it becomes immediately clear that it's the most personal mission for our protagonist. What we then get is 2 hours and 40 minutes of action set pieces that are amongst some of the greatest put to film. Cruise and director Christopher McQuarrie give us set pieces that perfectly use the location to keep us in the action and yet make it a character in itself, with the biggest one for me being the car chase sequence. The use of music by Lorne Balfe also helps to emphasise those more haunting and emotional moments, such as the alleyway fight sequence, and this film gives you everything you need for a satisfying ending while setting up for its direct sequel. It's a fantastic action film that needs to be seen in the cinema specifically. That's why it's now number 4, as when I rewatched it, the others just had a bit more of a lasting impact from home. Number 3. Oppenheimer. At number 3, we have Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan's latest IMAX epic that showcases us the life of Robert J. Oppenheimer and the inception and consequences of the Manhattan Project. Now, this film's captivating from its inception. Its use of music, cinematography and sound really plunge you deep into this world and the life of Oppenheimer. Nolan carefully crafts a film that's both factual and yet dramatic through the use of both his dialogue and the use of colours and tones, with his black and white and full colour sequences. The black and whites representing the true and factual events, while the colour sequences are representing those more dramatised. But the best part is that the film doesn't ever actually explicitly explain this, but it's clear enough for you to work this out on your own. It also helps that the cast are extraordinary, with the likes of Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh and Matt Damon to name a few. Robert Downey Jr. as Strauss gives a career best performance, but it is the talents of Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer that really steal the show. From the moment you see him, he is captivating and his performance is astounding. Again, a career best. Number 2, John Wick Chapter 4. At number 2, we have John Wick Chapter 4. This film sees our hero travel around the world to try and take down the High Table and its chief antagonist, the Marquis. Now, like previous John Wick films, it is a masterclass in action and stunt work, with this film going leaps and bounds bigger than its predecessors. The film allows itself to take risks in its choice of action, and you have enough faith to go along for the ride. It uses lighting in such a smart way to help amplify the action sequences. A great use of this is in the Osaka sequence. Its use of greens and reds are fantastic to behold. For a film that has such big action sequences, it's not afraid to take pauses. This is the longest John Wick film to date, and it is not afraid to pause and let the audience breathe in quieter moments. It lets you sit with the characters and their decisions, so by the time the action rolls around, it feels earned. It's a masterclass in both action and stunt work, with a great cast led by the amazing Keanu Reeves. Good direction, good story, and it just narrowly misses on the top spot. So before we get to number 1, I want to talk about some very quick honourable mentions. As I said at the start of this, there has been many great films this year, but it is the following 2 I want to quickly mention specifically, with the first up being Barbie. Greta Gerwig's latest film threw us into the world of Barbie with a good story and a fantastic cast. It's a dazzling film with great humour to it, and it has an important message throughout. Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling steal the show. Secondly is Gran Turismo. I really enjoyed this film. Don't get me wrong, the writing isn't always the strongest, but its direction and its use of race sequences really get you invested in the story and these characters. The cast are fun, and I really think this film has gone underappreciated. Now for number 1, Across the Spider-Verse. That's right, at number 1 it is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, a film that shows returning hero Miles Morales fight the Spot and travel the multiverse to discover what it is going to take to stop him. This film takes everything we loved from the first film and amplifies it. The story of the movie explores all avenues of Miles' life, both as Miles and as Spider-Man. We get to explore more of the other characters' lives as well, such as Gwen. We spend the first 20 minutes of this film with her, and it works. It allows us to see into her world and what she's going through, which helps digest and set up the rest of the story. The film never overloads you with information, but always gives you enough to understand what is going on and to question what will happen next. It is fantastically emotional. The story is happy to take a pause to highlight characters' important moments. The music by Daniel Pemberton only highlighting and amplifying this. Look at the scene when Miles discovers what will happen to his dad. The music makes you feel for Miles. The writing isn't in your face, but it's still emotional, so by the time this chase starts, you're rooting for Miles to win. The film ends perfectly as you are immediately ready for the next one, and yet extremely happy with what you've just witnessed. It's extraordinary. It's also beautiful. The animation style is a visual masterpiece, with each world bringing a new flavour, and it is flawless. Every part of this film, whether it's the music, the animation, the writing, helps serves the story in some way, and it works perfectly. It's a phenomenal movie that has to be seen. Well, there you go. They are my top 4 films. Like I said, there was a lot of fantastic films this year, some of which I got to see, some of which I didn't. What do you think? I want to know what your top 4 films are for 2023 and some honourable mentions. Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for all your support for the Review Lab in 2023. We are going to be taking a couple of weeks break, but we'll be back with new videos, new blog posts, starting with Through the Vortex for Series 2 and a bunch of other TikToks and videos. So keep an eye out for that. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube, to like and subscribe, like us on TikTok, like our blog posts. We really appreciate you, and we hope you had a happy and healthy new year. But until the next time, stay safe. We'll see you soon.